Peace, everyone. Today is August the 22nd, 2023. My name is Jasmine, and this is my journal. Um, I guess we'll get started with my past events, and then I'll talk to you guys about what's on my mind. Um, this past weekend, Saturday, the 19th, I went on a boat ride. It was a party here in Cincinnati. I had a ball. I had on my blue dress, high slits on both sides. Locks were looking good. Makeup was beat. Shout out to my best friend, makeup artist, Letitia Bang. I love my boo boo. She does so good with makeup. I was looking good, y'all. I was looking good. Had on my little silver sparkly. I didn't wear. I ordered pair of heels and a pair of wedges. I wore the wedges. Yes, and those slits was slitting. I said, you know what? Look, at my age, I know I'm thick, borderline chubby. I'm gonna show these thighs. Get that. I'm gonna hide myself. I ain't gonna dress, promiscuous, but I'm gonna hide myself. And then my date that I had, he complimented my colors. Like his pants were the same color as my dress, which is like a royal blue. He had on a black button down. He had on a hat that matched his pants, and we just look good. Can I say that? We just look good, and we had a time. We had a good time. We had a good time. I enjoyed myself. Y'all know me. Y'all been here with me for a while. If there's anything Jazz is going to do, Jazz is going to enjoy herself. On the other end, on the other hand, when um, I date freely. Now, look, ladies, when you date freely, that don't mean you sleep with all these people. I just want to get that out there. At 40, you don't think you shouldn't be having to tell people that, but you got to tell people that. But like I go on dates, and then if I feel that somebody has the potential for a relationship, I kind of focus on that person. I was dating somebody recently that I had to separate from. That I kind of saw the potential, but I think from what I told y'all last time, it was just a lot of bickering and arguing. So I let that go. And separating from that has been difficult. I think sometimes what happens is that I know I've done it in the past where somebody told me, okay, we're this. But in my mind, I wanted to be that so bad that I've created this narrative in my mind for it to be. And you see that happen often with women. Like, let's say a man, when you meet a man, he's like, look, I ain't looking for no relationship. We can mess around, we can go out, but that's all I want is a relationship. But as a female, in your mind, this man done took you out on dates. He done had sex with you. He done had you all up in his house. Y'all go together. But in his mind, he was very clear that he didn't want that title. So now you created a whole narrative in your mind, because in some way, shape, or form, you've allowed yourself to be misled, which is understandable because some of these fools out here, they'll tell you they don't want a relationship. They want to be free. Then they'll court you, date you, sleep with you, spend money on you, have you all up in their house, get mad if they think you're talking to another dude, go through your phone, tell you they don't want you talking to nobody but them, and they ain't really tell, but they doing them because walking in the door, their intentions were clear that they didn't want that title with you. So here you don't wasted 6 months to a year of your life with a motherfucker thinking that y'all together, and he never made that intention clear. I've been that person. I've created all types of narratives. So I had promised myself that if I date somebody, I'm going to be clear on my intention. And this is a situation where being clear on my intentions did not work because he took it and ran left, and he put that shit in my face too. Like, well, we was doing relationship stuff. We was going out. We was hanging out. I don't care what you said about us being friends. We was together. And I'm like, no, we weren't. I didn't. We didn't talk about that. But that was my fault. That was a lesson. You always wonder, like, when you gonna stop learning lessons? Look, I guess I'm gonna learn lessons till I die. Shit, because I'm always learning something. But that's all right. I'm always willing to sit down and check myself. So now I'm dealing with like maybe 125 missed calls a day, hundreds of text messages threatening. I don't care about all that shit. I'll ignore you till I die, But I'm not that cruel. But I just knew that at that moment that it wasn't a good connection for me, and I have the right to walk away from things that I don't feel serve my best interest. And someone who is temperamental that cannot control their anger does not serve my best interest because it's just something I can't handle emotionally. Which sounds weird because I'm not a very emotional person, but I can't handle stuff like that. But anyhow, my date was excellent. Um, he's not from Cincinnati, so he had to drive to Cincinnati, which is about maybe 4 hours. He had to drive to Cincinnati to take me on a date. So to me, that was impressive because I've been out with him before, and he has, I think one time I went to him, but he's always come to me. So he's hopping in his car and driving 4 hours just to take me out. To me, that's impressive. I like that. That's effort. I'm making effort too, y'all, but that's effort. So I'm impressed. Had a great time. I think our next date is September 1st. And I think this time I'm going to drive up because what I want to do lives in the city where he lives at. So I'll keep y'all posted on that one. I know y'all get tired of hearing me about crazy date stories about crazy. I be having some crazy stories. But let me tell y'all something. Out of all these crazy stories, I have fun. I'm always gonna have fun. And if I don't feel like I'm having fun, I'm out. I told myself after my last 14-year relationship, if I cannot have fun with you, I don't want to deal with you. I'm not gonna hold you. We can't, if we can't go because you don't ever want to go nowhere or you don't ever want to do nothing. You probably ain't the person for me because I'm adventurous. I like nature, parks, everything, hiking, getting flued out, flying out myself, traveling, comedy shows. I like all that. I don't have to have it all the time, but I do like to keep a sense of adventure in my life. So I think as I get older, as a woman, I'm very clear on what I want, and if it's not what I want, I let it go. I don't care if I told you I love you and we together yesterday. So I will let your ass go today. I don't care, And also, I'm not afraid to be by myself. It's just I entertain myself. Hell, I talk to myself. I watch TV or the TV watches me. I read my books. I will take myself out of town. I take myself on dates, y'all. I take myself out. I will take myself to a bar or club if I feel like it, which I don't like those often. I'll take myself to my favorite places to eat. I'll treat myself. I'll take one of my daughters with me on the date. Me and my daughter will go hang out and have dinner together and go to the movies. We have girls' day. I'll spend time, take the sons on a date. I go kick it with my grandkids. There's so much, and I got friends that I can go out with. So there's just so much in this world that I can do. I'm enjoying life whether you here or not. Y'all feel me? So to what's on my mind? Well, what's on my mind lately is finishing projects. I got so many unfinished projects, and you have that talk with yourself, that self talk, that God talk, that I call them conversations with God. You have these conversations with God where you're kind of sitting with yourself, and God is saying, "Hey, you got these projects over here that you need to be finishing." So that has been my focus. This what's been on my mind. Like I got like 3 books that are done that I have a publisher calling me like, girl, when you gonna publish these books? I haven't talked to her in a little bit, but something came to my awareness where she said that you could be entered to win a free, publishing where they'll publish, one of your books for free. And I'm like, shit, I need to get in on that. It might give me the opportunity. But just handling stuff like that, that's been on my mind. And also knowing when to move. So spiritually, I'm hard headed sometimes. Sometimes I get a feeling and I know when something needs to occur, but I won't necessarily make a move until I have to make a move. Well, I'm in a situation to where, you know, I probably need to make a move because I have to make a move. So, long story short, a few years back, I lost everything. My relationship ended. My mom passed away. I lost I think it was my car that year. I lost my house that I owned. Everything that I had, I pretty much lost. No death or anything like that, but a lot was taken away. Job, I had to find new work. I had to start over. So basically, when I left my house, because um, of the conditions and stuff, I ended up having to move somewhere quick, and it was really hard getting approved at the time. So I ended up basically, um, it's not hood, but it's hood. It's a weird type of hood, but it's not what I'm used to. I'm not. It's not a place that I'm used to living. But I've adjusted. You know, when I could live anywhere. That's just period. I prefer not to be homeless. But I mean, I've been homeless. I don't live in one bedroom. But I could live anywhere. You know, I'm not one of those people that are just too good to where I can't stay anywhere. If it's a home, you could create your own home in your own space wherever you at. But I'm like, wait, in the hood. I ain't tripping. My neighbor's cool. I get along with everybody except for one. You know what I'm saying? We cool. But spirit it's been on my spirit like, okay, Jazz, you've been down here, you've got back on your feet. Um, you've healed from this relationship, you've grieved your mother, you're making what 40, 50,000 more a year than you made when you first got here. It's time to move. And I knew it. I was like, you know what? The rent kind of cheap here. Let me just sit here and chill it out. So the first hand came along when they raised my rent. And I knew it was coming because they raised all my neighbors' rents. And I'm like, okay. But they only raised like two, $300. It's still less compared to where all my neighbors live at. So then a leak sprang in my bathroom. They had to call a plumber. The rent office had to call a plumber out. But it took the plumber forever to come out and fix it. So we went like days. I mean, we went like maybe 6 days with no water because we had to keep the water valve shut off because whenever you turn it on, water was sprayed the entire bathroom from the shower. Took them forever to fix it. And that was my first, and some told me, like, okay, you need to move. I didn't. I'm hard headed. So then, secondly, I noticed that the ceiling in my room was looking kind of weird. I'm like, okay, it's a crack right there that wasn't there before. And it's like a line going through like the left hand side of my ceiling when I look at it. I'm like, So after that, I told them about it. Nobody ever came. After that, I'm sitting here laying in my room. I hear, bloop, bloop, bloop. Man, it's raining. There's a leak in my room. So I take the girls out of town, come back. There was a lot of rain here in Cincinnati. Um, and when we come back, my room's flooded. So basically, the ceiling in my room caved in. Called the rent office. This was June. Sprung another leak in my room. I got three different leaks in my room. So when it rains in my room. So called the rent office. They said they'll send somebody. Nobody ever came. It took a month to get somebody out here. He came in here and he looked and he said, you need a new roof and you need your ceiling in your room repaired. I'm like, man, look. So my lesson in this is that I knew this a year ago. I knew that I'm on a month to month lease. If I ever rent from anywhere after that first year, I always sign up month to month. I pay the extra money because as a Sagittarian, I just like to be able to get up and go when I want to. But I knew it was time to move. Spirit told me it was time to move. But I'm being stubborn and I'm getting rained out this house. Mind you, the reason why I had to leave my old house was because of water. I don't know. I haven't figured out the connection with me and water. But my last three places that I resided at had four had water issues. They start off great, And they're water issues that are out of my control. They're not like something that I caused or something that I did or something that like the kids broke a pipe or something. It's nothing like that. It's always a water problem. I had one apartment for some reason. I shared this with my best friend. This is right after I became homeless. This is my first apartment after I was homeless. I noticed with my best friend that every time we wash clothes, these puddles will pop up under the carpet. It was craziest thing. The rent office couldn't even figure it out. We moved out of there. We moved into another apartment. Water leak. Moved out of that apartment. Moved into my house. You know, after we moved in and got settled in, we met the neighbor across the street. And I remember the neighbor told my ex, like, "Hey, that house got water problems." Man, my pipe busted up under my house. Basement flooded. Broke two water heaters. I had to replace two water heaters. Broke two water heaters. Um, I lost like so much stuff. I lost a lot of documentation, paperwork that was destroyed with that water. A family member of mine went to prison for 4 years, left all his clothes. I mean, designer clothes in my basement. All that shit got damaged. So I had to tell that man, he's passed away now, rest in peace. I had to tell that man when he got out of prison that his clothes was damaged. He wasn't tripping though. But a lot of that stuff was gone. I mean, a lot of stuff was destroyed. So I left that house. I had to leave that house, moved here, which is weird because in that house also, I went through a string of emotional breakdowns. And I noticed that whenever I had an emotional breakdown, my house would leak. Now I always say water is symbolic of emotions, huh? I ain't had no emotional breakdown up in this mug, and this house is leaking. So I'm like, I think it's probably time for me to really look for I don't want to say forever home. I don't think I'm meant to stay in one place like that. I don't think that's in my cards to like really live in one place for a very long time. I like to go, you know. I always make sure my rent and my bills are paid on time. That's a lesson I learned from a long time ago. I wasn't always like this, but with this particular house, I've I've I paid my rent late one time, and that's because we had COVID and I was off work, and I had just started that job at dialysis, and I didn't have any PTO yet. But besides that, my rent has been paid on time every month. I make sure that's car notes, insurance, and my bills are always paid on time. I'm very anal about that. That has come with age. When I was younger, not so much. I make sure my bills are paid on time. Um, but it's time to go. I just don't know where I'm going to go. So I will wait to receive that message and not be hard headed. So basically, when you're receiving messages from spirit, like how fast are you moving? I've noticed that whenever I don't move quick on decision, it costs me greatly. It does. It just costs me. Like even with when I met and started dating the last guy with the anger issues, I was told no. Like, but I was having he was so much fun, but like I think one time it's weird. One time, me and him, we were sitting down by the river. We had a spot by the river we would go. Nobody's ever there. It's like a small place where the little boats, the private boats, dock and they drive off. Nobody be down there in that park like that. But it's a nice spot to sit at by the river, listen to music. Some people come down there to go fishing. It's just cool. So we sitting down there, we talking, and he was talking to me, and we were having a pleasant conversation, but the conversation wasn't reaching his eyes. And for some reason, some in my spirit just zoned in on his eyes. And I'm like, that's weird. I'm like, he has no expression in his eyes. So whatever he's doing or saying, it does not reach his eyes. Like even when he smiled, it don't reach his eyes. So imagine someone having like regular eyes and they smile, but their eyes, how Tyra Banks used to say, smiles, smile with your eyes. He didn't do that. Like, I noticed that any type of emotion he expressed, it never goes to his eyes. I was just looking like his eyes are kind of blank. And I remember my spirit telling me, like, baby, no, this ain't it. Like, something's wrong. That's the feeling I got, was like something wrong. Then I got another feeling that was like, it's too early. I mean, it's still early. Like, you can back out. And I was like, okay, maybe. Then I talked myself out of it, because I'm like, maybe they're old subconscious fears, because, I am a product of abuse. I've been in abusive relationships. I was abused as a kid, not physically, but y'all know what I mean. Abuse is abuse. So I thought maybe it was that fear speaking, because that always kind of comes to the surface. I'm still healing. It always kind of comes to the surface, like, okay, is this what I'm feeling, or are these just old subconscious insecurities that be popping up? Now, my gut wasn't lying, so I knew. So I realized that every time I do not listen to myself, it doesn't work. It just, it doesn't. Or things go terribly wrong. So, what have you been instructed to do, or what have you been compelled to do, or compelled not to do, that you're doing? And how much trouble has it gotten you into? How much? Like, when will we learn? When will we learn to say, okay, my spirit told me this, I'm not going to do it? You know what I mean? And most of the time, I operate in that energy, but sometimes I don't. And I'm not going to sit on this phone and not be truthful with y'all. Sometimes I do not. I be cutting up. So that is my episode for today. Listen to your gut. Your gut never lies. We've had these human gut instincts. You don't have to be no psychic. Look, I'm a medium and I'm hard headed, but we've had these instinctive guts, these instincts in our gut, these feelings since the beginning of time, and every single human has them. Just some are more aware than others. But if how many times have you felt someone in your gut and you knew it wasn't right, and you did it anyway, and it ended up being jacked up? So, like, how much are you listening to yourself? How often are you having that dialogue with yourself? Like, hey, this isn't working. What are you doing when spirit tells you to move? And y'all know I'm not talking to y'all, but I'm talking to myself too, because I probably had about, man, I got like 60 some 70 episodes of this podcast. So I'm pretty sure I've talked about being hard headed more than one time. So it's still a lesson that I'm learning. I'm trying to tell y'all, but I'm getting there. But what lessons do you need to learn? How are you looking at yourself? How are you listening to your gut? Is it time to end that relationship that you're in? You know, is there a person that needs your attention that you're not paying them no attention? Is it time to quit that job? Mm-hmm. Is it time to walk away from something, or somebody, or somebody's? Or is it time to get yourself on track and accomplish your goals and finish your projects? And you know what I'm saying? Get away from that crazy man that's crazy over you, that's, you know, messing up your energy, or fighting you, or, going towards the goal, or what's best for you, what's serving you. And that is my lesson right now, being obedient to what I'm receiving within my spirit, just being obedient to that. But anyhow, y'all know, I love y'all all. This is the episode. Don't forget to love on yourself every day, 11 times in the morning in that mirror, 11 times at night. I don't know about y'all, but that I love you, it's been doing wonders for me, you know? And I didn't even realize it was working until somebody else told me. Um, the guy that I went with Saturday on the boat ride, this is the first I ever heard this from a male, but he was like, he said, I really like the way you carry yourself. He said, you walk in this energy of love. And he said, I respect it because it's towards yourself. So even though I haven't fully embraced the capacity of self love, I know that these exercises are pulling me in the right direction because people are noticing. So, with that being said, I love you all. Have a great day. I am headed into the office. Hopefully, staffing is better today. Have a good one. Peace.